Michael Carter lived in a quiet neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, with his wife, Emma, and their 8-year-old son, Ethan. Their house was small compared to the beautiful homes around them, but it was filled with laughter, love, and warmth. Every morning, Michael woke up before sunrise, prepared breakfast for his family, and drove to work at a local logistics company. His salary wasn't impressive, but he worked hard and never complained. Emma had once admired Michael's honesty and kindness. When they first met in college, she often told her friends that she had found a man with a golden heart. Back then, money didn't seem important. They would sit together in parks, eat inexpensive meals, and dream about their future. Years later, reality looked different. Bills arrived every month, expenses increased, social media constantly displayed the luxurious lives of other people. Emma found herself comparing her life to the lives of wealthy influencers, successful entrepreneurs, and old classmates who appeared to have everything. One afternoon, Emma met her college friend Sophia at a shopping center. Sophia stepped out of a brand new luxury SUV wearing expensive designer clothes and carrying shopping bags from high-end stores. Emma stared in disbelief. "Wow, Sophia," she said. "You look amazing." Sophia smiled proudly. "Life's been good." They spent the afternoon together at an upscale restaurant. Sophia talked about exotic vacations, expensive jewelry, and her husband's successful business ventures. Emma listened quietly. For the first time, she felt embarrassed about her own life. When Emma returned home that evening, Michael was helping Ethan with his homework at the kitchen table. "Dad, I got an A on my science project," Ethan shouted excitedly. Michael grinned. "That's my boy." Emma watched them for a moment. A few years earlier, the scene would have made her happy. Now it only reminded her of everything they didn't have. At dinner, she barely spoke. Michael noticed. "Everything okay?" Emma forced a smile. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. Over the following weeks, something began changing inside her. Everywhere she looked, she saw wealth. Advertisements promised happiness through luxury. Social media glorified expensive lifestyles. Friends posted pictures from tropical resorts. Meanwhile, she was budgeting grocery expenses. One evening, she finally spoke her mind. "Michael, have you ever wondered why we're still struggling?" Michael looked up from his plate. "What do you mean?" "I mean why we're still living like this." He frowned. "We have a home. We have food. Ethan is healthy." "That's not what I'm talking about." "Then what are you talking about?" Emma sighed heavily. "We're stuck." Michael remained silent. Emma continued. "Other people our age are buying bigger houses and driving better cars." Michael leaned back. "Comparing ourselves to others isn't going to make us happy." Emma shook her head. "That's easy for you to say." "What does that mean?" "It means you've become comfortable with having less." The words hit Michael harder than she realized. For several seconds, neither spoke. Finally, Michael said softly, "I'm doing my best." Emma looked away. "Sometimes your best isn't enough." That sentence stayed with Michael long after dinner ended. For the first time, he wondered whether his wife was losing faith in him. Over the next few months, their relationship grew strained. Small disagreements became arguments. Simple conversations turned into criticism. Michael worked overtime whenever possible, hoping to improve their situation. But the more he worked, the more distant Emma became. Then one day, everything changed. Emma attended a charity gala organized by a local business association. She almost didn't go. A neighbor had offered her a spare ticket at the last minute. The event was filled with successful business owners, politicians, and wealthy investors. Emma felt out of place until she met Daniel Brooks. Daniel was a charismatic entrepreneur in his early 40s. He owned multiple companies and had built a reputation as one of Ohio's most successful businessmen. Unlike many wealthy people, Daniel knew how to make others feel important. Throughout the evening, he spoke with Emma several times. He complimented her intelligence. He listened to her opinions. He treated her like someone special. When the event ended, Daniel handed her his business card. "It was great meeting you, Emma." "You too. I hope we'll talk again." Emma slipped the card into her purse. She told herself it meant nothing. But she couldn't stop thinking about him. Over the next few weeks, Daniel occasionally texted her. At first, the conversations were harmless. Then they became more frequent. Soon, Emma found herself looking forward to his messages. Daniel represented everything Michael didn't. Confidence, power, success, luxury. One afternoon, Daniel invited her to lunch. Emma hesitated. Then she accepted. The restaurant overlooked the city skyline. The food was expensive, the atmosphere felt elegant. Emma had never experienced anything like it. As they talked, Daniel spoke about his travels around the world. Paris, Dubai, Tokyo, London, places Emma had only seen in photographs. "You deserve more than you're settling for," Daniel told her. Those words echoed in her mind for days. Meanwhile, Michael noticed the growing distance. One night, Emma came home late. Michael was waiting in the living room. "Where were you?" Out. Out where?" "With friends." "Until 11 o'clock. Emma crossed her arms. "Do I need permission now?" Michael took a deep breath. "I'm worried about you." "No, you're trying to control me. I'm trying to understand what's happening." Emma laughed bitterly. "You wouldn't understand." Michael stared at her. "What happened to us?" For a brief moment, Emma looked guilty. Then the feeling disappeared. "We grew up." Michael felt a knot tighten in his chest. "No," he said quietly. Something else happened, but Emma walked away before he could finish. Days later, Ethan noticed the tension. At breakfast, he looked at both parents. "Are you guys mad at each other?" Michael immediately smiled. "No, buddy." Emma remained silent. Ethan wasn't convinced. Children often understand more than adults realize. One evening, Michael decided to confront the issue directly. After Ethan went to bed, he sat across from Emma. "We need to talk." Emma looked annoyed. "About what?" "About us. There is no us anymore." The words froze the air between them. Michael blinked. "What did you just say?" Emma looked him directly in the eyes. "There is no us anymore." For a moment, Michael couldn't speak. The woman he had loved for more than a decade suddenly felt like a stranger. "Is there someone else?" Emma hesitated. That hesitation told him everything. Michael lowered his head. The pain was immediate and overwhelming. After several seconds, he whispered, "I loved you with everything I had." Emma looked away. "I know." "Then why?" She stood up. "Because love isn't enough." Michael felt tears forming in his eyes. "And what is enough?" "Security. We have security." "No, Michael." She shook her head. "We survive." "That's not the same thing." Michael stared at her. "I would have given you everything." Emma's voice softened. "But you couldn't." That sentence shattered what remained of his heart. The following week, Emma packed her belongings. Ethan stood by the front door crying. "Mom, where are you going?" Emma struggled to answer. His small voice nearly broke her resolve. "Mom." She knelt beside him. Tears filled her eyes. "I love you. Then don't leave." The words pierced her heart. For several seconds, she almost changed her mind. Almost, but not quite. She hugged him tightly. Then she stood and walked toward the door. Michael remained silent. His face showed no anger, only heartbreak. Emma expected him to beg her to stay. He didn't. As she reached the doorway, Michael finally spoke. "One day you'll realize what really matters." Emma paused. Without turning around, she replied, "Maybe." Then she left. The door closed. The house became silent. Ethan burst into tears. Michael immediately pulled his son into his arms. The boy cried against his father's chest. "Dad, why did Mom leave?" Michael struggled to find an answer. How could he explain adult selfishness to a child? How could he explain betrayal? How could he explain that sometimes the people you love choose a different path? He kissed Ethan's forehead. "It's okay, son." But even as he said it, he knew nothing was okay. That night was the longest night of his life. After Ethan finally fell asleep, Michael sat alone in the dark living room. The family photographs hanging on the wall suddenly felt like relics from another lifetime. He looked at one picture taken during a beach vacation years earlier. Everyone was smiling. Everyone looked happy. Michael touched the frame gently. Then tears rolled down his face. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to cry. Outside, rain began falling against the windows. Inside, a man sat alone with the pieces of a broken heart, unaware that the hardest chapter of his life had only just begun. 5 years passed. Time had a strange way of changing people. The wounds that once felt impossible to survive slowly turned into scars. They never completely disappeared, but they no longer controlled every moment of Michael Carter's life. The first year after Emma left had been brutal. There were nights when he barely slept. There were mornings when he forced himself out of bed only because Ethan needed him. Every corner of the house reminded him of memories he wished he could forget. Yet life continued, and because life continued, Michael continued too. He focused all his energy on raising his son. He attended every school event, every baseball game, every parent-teacher conference, every birthday celebration. When Ethan got sick, Michael stayed awake all night beside his bed. When Ethan struggled in school, Michael patiently helped him study. When Ethan cried because he missed his mother, Michael listened without criticizing Emma. Despite everything she had done, Michael never tried to poison Ethan against her. "Your mother loves you," he would always say, even when saying those words hurt him. At the same time, Michael threw himself into work. What began as a small side business operating from his garage gradually expanded. He spent countless nights studying business strategies. He learned marketing, he learned finance, he learned leadership. Whenever others slept, Michael worked. There were moments when he wanted to quit, moments when failure seemed inevitable. But every time he looked at Ethan, he found another reason to keep going. Years of sacrifice slowly began paying off. The company grew, new clients arrived, profits increased, employees were hired. Before long, Michael owned one of the fastest growing logistics companies in Ohio. Financial success eventually arrived. Ironically, it arrived after the person who wanted it most had already left. One evening, Michael stood in front of his new office building. The company logo shined brightly above the entrance. A younger version of himself would have celebrated. Instead, he simply smiled. Success felt different than he had imagined. It brought comfort, it brought security, but it couldn't replace lost years. It couldn't heal every wound. Most importantly, it couldn't bring back trust once it had been broken. Meanwhile, Emma's life had followed a very different path. At first, everything seemed perfect. Daniel gave her expensive gifts, luxury vacations, designer clothing, fine dining, everything she had once dreamed about. For a while, she convinced herself she had made the right decision. Whenever doubts appeared, she buried them beneath new purchases and glamorous experiences. But reality eventually emerged. The excitement of luxury slowly faded. The expensive restaurants became ordinary. The vacations became routine. The gifts lost their magic. And once the excitement disappeared, something important became obvious. Daniel wasn't Michael. Daniel could provide money, but he couldn't provide emotional connection. Their conversations were shallow. Their relationship felt transactional. Whenever Emma wanted meaningful time together, Daniel was busy. Meetings, business trips, investments, phone calls, work always came first. One night, they sat together in a beautiful penthouse overlooking downtown Chicago. The city lights sparkled below. It should have felt romantic. Instead, it felt lonely. Daniel stared at his laptop. Emma stared out the window. Several minutes passed in silence. Finally she spoke. "Can we talk?" Without looking up, Daniel answered. "We are talking." "No, I mean really talk." Daniel sighed. "What about us?" He finally closed the laptop. "What about us?" Emma hesitated. Then she asked, "Are you happy?" Daniel looked confused. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one." He shrugged. "I guess." Emma nodded slowly. Then she asked another question. "Do you love me?" Daniel stared at her for several seconds. The pause itself gave her the answer. Eventually he spoke. "I care about you." Emma felt her heart sink. Because caring and loving were not the same thing. For the first time in years, she remembered Michael. She remembered the way he used to look at her. The way he remembered small details. The way he listened. The way he always put family first. Back then she had considered those things ordinary. Now she understood how rare they actually were. Months later, the relationship deteriorated further. Arguments became frequent. Distance increased. Eventually Daniel ended things. Just like that. No dramatic scene. No desperate apologies. No fight to save the relationship. It simply ended. Emma found herself alone. Truly alone. The luxurious apartment suddenly felt empty. The expensive furniture offered no comfort. The designer clothes hanging in her closet couldn't hug her when she cried. For the first time, she had nobody. And that was when regret finally arrived. Not as a single moment, but as a slow realization. A realization that grew stronger every day. She began looking at old photographs. Family vacations, birthday parties, holiday celebrations, pictures of Michael, pictures of Ethan, pictures of a life she had abandoned. The more she looked, the more she understood. She hadn't left because she was unhappy. She had left because she believed happiness existed somewhere else. And she had been wrong. One afternoon, she searched Michael's name online. What she found surprised her. News articles, business interviews, awards, recognition, success. The man she once considered unsuccessful had built something remarkable. Yet what affected her most wasn't his wealth. It was the photographs. Every picture showed Michael with Ethan. Smiling, supporting him, being present, being a father. Emma suddenly realized how much she had missed. Years she could never get back. Birthdays, school graduations, family milestones, memories. Entire chapters of her son's life had passed without her. That realization hurt more than anything else. Several months later, Ohio's Business Leadership Foundation announced its annual gala. Business leaders from across the state would attend. Michael was receiving an award for entrepreneurial excellence. Emma saw the announcement online. She stared at it for a long time. Part of her wanted to ignore it. Part of her wanted to go. Eventually, she bought a ticket. The night of the gala arrived. The ballroom was filled with successful professionals. Elegant dresses, formal suits, crystal chandeliers, laughter, conversation. Emma entered nervously. She hadn't seen Michael in years. Part of her wondered if he would even recognize her. Then she saw him, standing near a group of executives. Confident, respected, successful. But what surprised her most was how peaceful he looked. Not happy because of money. Not proud because of status. Peaceful, as though he had finally found himself. For several minutes, she simply watched from a distance. Then Michael turned. Their eyes met. Time seemed to stop. Neither spoke. Neither moved. Years of history existed within that single moment. Eventually Michael walked toward her. Emma. His voice was calm. No anger. No bitterness. Just calm. Hi, Michael. You look well. The simple kindness nearly made her cry. Thank you. An awkward silence followed. Finally she asked, how have you been? Michael smiled slightly. Good. She nodded. I've heard. Again silence. Emma struggled to find words. The man standing before her wasn't the broken husband she had left behind. He was stronger now, wiser, more confident, and somehow that made her regret even deeper. After several moments, she gathered the courage to ask the question she had carried for years. Did you ever forgive me? Michael looked at her carefully. Then he answered, yes. Emma felt emotion rise in her chest. Really? Years ago. Tears formed in her eyes. Why? Michael's answer was simple. Because carrying anger hurts the person carrying it. The tears began falling. I'm sorry. Michael nodded gently. I know. No, you don't understand. I do. I made the biggest mistake of my life. Michael remained quiet. Emma wiped her eyes. I thought money would make me happy. Michael said nothing. I thought I was choosing a better future. Still silence. Instead of judgment, she saw compassion in his eyes. And somehow that hurt even more. Finally she whispered, can you ever trust me again? Michael looked away briefly. Then he answered honestly, trust is different from forgiveness. Emma lowered her head. She already knew. The truth simply hurt. A few moments later, a young man approached. Tall, confident, handsome, Ethan, no longer a child, no longer the little boy who cried at the front door. A grown man. Emma's breath caught in her throat. Ethan. He stopped. For a moment neither knew what to say. Years of absence stood between them. Finally Ethan spoke. Hi, Mom. The word nearly broke her. Not because of what it meant, but because of everything she had missed hearing it. She hugged him tightly. Tears streamed down her face. I'm so sorry. Ethan closed his eyes. I know. Just like his father, he carried no hatred. But forgiveness could not erase lost years. They spent the evening talking, laughing occasionally, remembering old memories. Yet Emma understood something important. Some opportunities come only once. Some moments cannot be recreated. Some chapters cannot be rewritten. Near the end of the event, she stood beside Michael one final time. I wish I could go back. Michael looked across the ballroom. So do a lot of people. If I could change everything, I would. Michael nodded. I believe you. Emma swallowed hard. Then why does it still hurt so much? Michael thought for a moment. Then he answered, because wisdom usually arrives after the consequences. The words stayed with her. As the evening ended, they walked toward the exit. Outside, the night air was cool. Cars arrived and departed. The city lights glowed in the distance. Emma looked at Michael one last time. You really found happiness, didn't you? Michael smiled. Not happiness. What then? Peace. There was a difference. And after everything they had experienced, Emma finally understood it. She watched as Michael and Ethan walked toward their car together. Father and son, side by side, strong, united, a family that had survived heartbreak and rebuilt itself. Emma remained standing alone beneath the lights of the hotel entrance. For years she had chased wealth believing it would fill the emptiness inside her. Instead, she learned a painful truth. The most valuable things in life are often the things people take for granted until they lose them. Love, trust, loyalty, family, and once those things are gone, no amount of money in the world can fully replace them. As Michael and Ethan disappeared into the night, Emma quietly wiped away her tears. Some lessons cost more than money. Some lessons cost years, and some lessons arrive only after the door to the past has closed forever. Heart,